Hello, all, and welcome to the next meetup of AWS User Group Punjab. My name is Amandeep Singh, and I lead AWS User Group Punjab. So, this meetup is for everyone who still feels overwhelmed by artificial intelligence. If you still feel left behind, we are here for you. Today, we have Vishnu with us, who will be talking about how to achieve the basic first step to get AWS acquainted, artificial intelligence acquainted. Based on AWS, there's this most basic certification called AWS AI Practitioner. So let me bring Vishnu on stage. Hi Vishnu, how are you?
Hi, Amandeep. Hi, everyone. So, a very good evening, good afternoon. So, wherever you are, thanks for watching this, and yeah, thanks for giving me opportunity, Amandeep. So, I'm just going to give me a brief introduction about me. It will be short. So, myself, Vishnu, I'm working as a cloud AI engineer at Sudo. So, I have been using this AI technology since last 1.5 year, and I've been in this AWS ecosystem since 3+ years. So today is a kind of insightful session, which was you see, right? We were in the phase of where we need to start learning the AI. So you can see people were saying those are LLMs, SLMs. Someone came and say Bedrock. Someone came and say that Google anti gravity. But that's fine. Those are the tools. But here we need to start up with building some base. So what really LLM was and everything. So the great way to start was doing some certification, which gives a strength for you in order to pursue that. So today our agenda is to learn about how a practitioner can help out you and how you can start, uh, crack the a practitioner certification. So yeah, before
A quick,
moving into just someone.
a quick word about Vishnu before we start. He holds 14 AWS AI 14 AWS certifications under his belt, which is really awesome. And with his vast experience, he'll help us guide how to become AWS AI practitioner certified today. Over to you, Vishnu.
Thanks, Amandeep. Thanks. Yeah. So before getting into the AWS practitioner certification, the first thing we need to start from the roots. So if someone was there new to the AI, someone was there who to the like obviously old to the AI. So this is something kind of a subset where we can interrelate the topics. See, AI and Gen AI or agentic AI, whatever it should be. So it's not something like a different subjects. They are overlapped, and there is a thin line of margin where it differentiates the Gen AI, and agentic AI. So today, vastly we are seeing we evolved from the AI to the generative AI, and in the generative AI, we are getting something called LLM. So you might wonder, so Vishnu, what is LLM? Like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So let us say, take some simple example. So you are using some chat GPT, right? So you are using some Gemini and you are using some Meta. So you can see every time there will be release of GPT 5.2, GPT 5.0 or Gemini 3.1, etc. You might wonder what are those? So those are nothing but these large language models. These large language models nothing but they trained on the vast amount of data. So the large language model can be our human brain as well, since we are from the pre-KG to our graduation. We are getting a lot of amount of knowledge. Nothing but we are trained on the knowledge, and right now we are using it there. So that is something like that. LLM is something where the model has been vastly trained, and it going to give you some appropriate answers. And let's explore what AI practitioner certification look like. So if you are new, we might think like how the things work here. If you are old already, you did some certification, you should have some amount of knowledge how the things work. So AWS AI practitioner is nothing but a foundational one, and which has total number of questions will be 65, and the time will be 90 minutes. the passing score would be 700 out of 1000. So you may not sure like how many questions to be right, but if you see there are 15 unscored questions, it just takes your knowledge. So they wanted to get some feedback like how that learners have been improving in certain kind of questions. You may not know which is unscored or scored, and there are no negative marks. So as you know, for any certifications like a cloud provider certifications, mostly you don't find any negative marking. And format, it would be as aware like multiple choice of questions, matching multi-response questions, like sometimes the question has two answers, so sometimes it comes with some combinations, etc. Experience, yeah, you need to have some amount of experience in terms of theoretical as well as the hands-on. So I would prefer start with the theory, do the practical, or do both at a time. So these are some weightages, like whenever you try to take any certification or something, or if you're doing something, you need to get us a pre-planned idea, right? So what are the areas I need to focus, and what are the areas I'm going to learn in this certification. So as you see, the most and first part was fundamentals of AI and ML. So what exactly was AI? So what is ML? And we have something in ML called supervised learning, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning, etc. We want to know the concepts. Second one was fundamentals of generative AI. So we are in a fast phase world where we moved from AI to Gen AI. And next thing is application of foundational models. So foundational models are something like which we discussed earlier, the LLMs. So applications, it is nothing but how we're going to use those LLMs. It's not like you're going to build the LLM. It's moreover like how you're going to use them. So AWS has the flavors of services which you go and use it. Those are nothing but the managed services, and there are some services which can do it yourself. So we're going to discuss about them in coming slides. Obviously, if you see the weightage of the guidance for responsible AI and security for AI is something we need to focus on. We are not need to just use the AI in a such a way, but we need to use it responsibly and as well as securable. So this is the main agenda, and the weightages according to the domains. We have the services which going to be fit under these domains. Yeah. I just wanted to talk some few concepts, so which will be universal if you are going to take tomorrow the Google AI Cloud or something like Microsoft or Oracle or etc. So these are four main concepts you can find in this Gen AI or AI. The first thing was large language models, which we discussed earlier. So those are the models which were trained on the vast amount of data. So where they're going to answer on the most of the topics, which will be the recent data. So it can be like a last 3 years or 4 years. So if you need uh, an AI agent or something wanted to train on top of your information, we might do create we might to start doing creating a model out of it, or we can use the LLM model and fine tune it. So there are some strategies, but LLM in a short, it is nothing but a vast amount of data that the model has been trained. And you might ask him about the embeddings. So we are seeing like I wonder everyone knows what kind of databases we have. Relational database, NoSQL database. You can see graph based. There are key value pair, JSON, document type, etc. So we starting a word like we have been seeing a word or a database type called vector database. So embeddings are nothing but the embedding. So we have some embedding models which going to convert our inputs. It can be text or it can be some images. It going to create some vector embeddings, so which will be useful in order to LLM, in order to generate our content. So we have the embeddings, right? You can see in the screen we have this some mathematical vectors. So based upon the prompt, based upon the information you're going to give, so they are going to do some semantic searching, and going to evaluate, okay, which vector is the nearest to the response, which human provided, and what kind of input I need to generate. So we have some set of things will be going on parallel to the vector embeddings, but this is the main thing we need to know, the embeddings. So these vector embeddings. So embedding is nothing but converting this input text or input image into the vectors. And we use vector databases like OpenSearch. If you refer to something like open source or free, there is something called Pincone, or you already have some data. So Vishnu, I have some data in RDS. So can I use it as my vector database? That for sure. We can also RDS also support, DynamoDB also support, even DocumentDB also support in order to store this vector data. Vector embeddings. The another hot topic which was going on was something called prompts and prompt engineering. So as you aware, prompts are nothing but where you're going to ask the AI so what the things need to be done. So for example, it's a kind of communication channel which you're going to make with an LLM or AI in order to get your desired response. So we have some kind of concepts in that, like zero shot, no zero shot, chain of thought, and a few shot, etc. So those are nothing the prompts. And next would be the most important one. I can say the tokens and context window. So yeah, you are new to AI, so you dumped a lot of information into the AI and you wanted some output. Sometimes you get the token the tokens are exceeded or something, right? So tokens are nothing but the text you are given, right? It going to be for LLM or something, they are going to be the tokens. So okay, the human given some X tokens like 8k tokens, and we're going to generate these terms of tokens. We call it as input tokens and output tokens. That is a way of giving the context to the AI, and that is nothing but the number of letters or words that AI can help you out, the tokens. And context window is nothing but the kind of information you are giving to the AI. So wherever you see, right, these are the main thing. Even you do with the chat GPT, so you can see like some model, Vishnu one model came and they are saying 1 billion parameters. Someone saying like it supports like 8k tokens, or it's 16k tokens. Nothing but that much kind of information, or the text, something you can give to the AI in order to process the data. So we have something like light models as well, where you can observe it only have the less number of tokens. Yeah, let's go to one of the most important service, uh, Amazon, AWS AI important service, which can be useful for you kickstart building something for you, like a Gen AI application or agentic AI, or if you want to explore the multiple LLMs or models, this is the best place to start. So Amazon Bedrock is nothing but a place where you can access a lot of foundational models. For example, you wanted to use some model from Llama, you can use it. Something from the Claude like Sonnet, Opus, Haiku, and you want to use some image models from the 12 labs. You want to use some AWS models like Nova, Titan. So Bedrock gives you the single interface, the single line of a code, invoke API, invoke Bedrock model. So where through that you're going to invoke and use the particular foundational models in order to process process your information based upon your requirement. You can use a text model, or you can use a image model. You can also use a speech to speech model. So there is something called a Nova Sonic. Yeah, so that is the starting way, so where you going to use the stuff which was already provided by the AWS. So now you wanted to think about your enterprise level. So I have some certain amount of data, so now I need to make that model give me the results based upon my data. So we can do something called retrieval augmented generation, where the LLM going to fetch the information from our resources, nothing but from our data, and it passes to the LLM so that it's going to give you a correct context. So that's how we can make use of the Amazon RAG. So you can see there is something called model customization. You can data integrate, like if your data was in S3, you can integrate it. If it's in an RDS database, you can integrate it. And if you wanted to do some data automation, you can also use something called Bedrock Data Automation Service. It's a kind of feature. And second thing, we have the cost and latency and performance optimization. So what exactly, you might be thinking, what is the cost, what is the latency and performance? Latency is nothing but, for example, see, in the recent days we have some outage in the Middle East, like in UAE and Bahrain region. So for example, if you have some application you hosted in that particular region, and your AI application is solely built on the Bedrock and it was using some model. Now you need to make a latency way that if something goes wrong here, it should be able to still make a call to my models and it should get my the in output. So that is where latency has something called cross inference profiles. So those will be useful for your model in order to invoke the call to the less latency region. So once you enable it, so based upon the user location, like what will be the nearest region it has, and it going to invoke there and it going to pass the stuff. So that is called a latency. The cost is nothing but how you're going to restrict the users based upon their input and output tokens, right? So you don't want them to exhaust all the input tokens like given in one context window. So for example, if you have 8k tokens supported as input, you don't want to give the user or someone use it. So the cost associated to the number of input tokens and the output tokens. So we can make it restrict in the code level. So performance optimization is also something we can do, something called a prompt catching. So if something prompt has been used numerously, like many users are using the same prompt or etc., we can catch it so that it will be intelligent enough. It will help us in order to auto complete that. We have the seamless AWS integration. Obviously, when you're going to use any AWS service, it going to give you that better seamless integrations. And you also, there is something called guardrails, and you really need that. So where it going to validate the user input. So it's going to block certain information which not need not to be need not to be portrayed. For example, your LLM model, your application only focus on something like content generation. If someone came and asked about the finance or what is the salary of a CEO in our company, so those things you can block via guardrails. And guardrails are have a lot like PHI, or if you can also enable some blocking, and you can also make it visible that this kind of information cannot be visible. So that's how we can make a keep a guardrail in front of the LLM, so that whenever the prompt is going, it's going to get some sanitization in the guardrails level, then it moves to the LLM. So the last one is nothing but multi-agents. So we are obsessed to the multi-agent orchestry. So how I can make a multi-agent flow? So that's AWS Bedrock supports it. So these are services where we're going to see some more, and I'm going to quickly wrap this off. So coming to the SageMaker, the one word for the SageMaker would be: this is a place where you can build your models, train your models, maintain the models registry, and you can do a lot. So that is you can play around all of your ML ops cycle in the SageMaker AI. So it gives that feasibility, and it gives the vast number of integrations, and you're going to create some notebooks as well. For example, if you're someone from AI and ML background, obviously you will be using something called Jupyter notebooks. Even in SageMaker, you're going to spin up that studio and you can make use of it. And you can see there are others as well, something called SageMaker Jumpstart, where you can just dump your data and going to give you the what kind of correct criteria, what kind of model it can be utilized, and what are bias in your data, etc. So this is a place where you can create, deploy, and train your ML models at a scale. And next thing was Amazon Q. I can name it as my favorite service. So Amazon Q is a GenAI service where it will be useful for us in order to uh, do some stuff in terms of in AWS side. For example, I am a new joinee, so I'm not sure uh, how to get started with the S3 and how to create an S3 bucket. So in the AWS console itself, we can see something called Amazon Q icon. Once I click into that, it's going to help me out. Okay, so this way you can create a S3 bucket, and these are some CLI commands you can use. For example, I wanted to see some of the cost related. So it's going to tell me that, okay, Vishnu, in the last 3 weeks you have spent a few EC2s, and this is the cost associated to it. So this easy way of doing, right? So instead of going to multiple consoles and multiple services extracting the information, and at the end you need to do the same, you need to drag them into one place. So that is what Amazon Q does. And it also has few of the flavors. One is called Q developer and Q business. uh, Q developer is something which you can use with your IDE. So it's the same thing like a GitHub Copilot, but it gives us some more better features, like it does a code scan, and it also able to we can able to select underlying model as well. So for example, I want to use Cloud Sonnet, not Opus. I want to use I want to use other models as well. So it gives that feasibility of changing the models according to our context as well. And Q business is something wholly for the enterprise apps. So you have vast amount of data and you wanted to create a AI agent top of it. So that is where Amazon Q business will be useful. And we have other AI services as well. So these are simple, like I can give you some one word. So these let me go back to the first slide. Yeah, these services are main in terms of your examination, and as well as the crucial in day-to-day work as well. So if you wanted to do something like managed service kind of, you can start with the Bedrock. Or you wanted to build something from the scratch, you're going to make use of SageMaker AI. Or you wanted to use something like a PaaS kind of solution. For example, I want to tightly couple GenAI bot to my AWS console or something, which it can be does it give me some real-time guidance on that. For example, if I stuck in some error, if I am configuring something I stuck in error, so Amazon Q jumps in and it going to give you some the resolution as well. And these are other AI ML services which are available, but these are also have the some significance. I'm going to say based upon the logo itself, and it gives you clearly how AWS did this services logo based upon the context. So recognition is nothing; it does the image and video analysis. So if you see the logo itself, right, it given some magnifying lens, and it given you some scanning kind of thing. So that what recognition does. It does some image scanning, it does detects the objects in the image, and it going to tell you that. So that is what recognition useful for. The comprehend, you have the document and you have some bulb icon, right? So comprehend is nothing but it going to give some context about your information. So for example, if I draft an email, so I want to know the tone of the email, so the sentiment behind the sentiment analysis, the key phrases, and what should I respond to the next and all. So here where you can use the comprehend. So in the real world scenario, when you got n number of documents, this can analyze the tone, and it going to tell you, okay, this is how it was and this is what the tone was, and it going to mask the PHI information as well. For example, if you provide some your personal identification number or CC number or etc., it going to abstract it. It going to redundant it so that it's not able to visible for others or the information. And next one was transcribe. If you see the icon, so let me yeah, if you see the icon, right, it's a speech to text. So here is a speech and here is a text. So transcribe is a service where it can use it to speech to text. So next one is called poly. Poly is a uh, the vice versa of the transcribe, there it going to do text to speech. It supports a 60 plus languages. And you can also do, for example, if I have some abbreviations like www, so or www, world wide web, you can also give that kind of SAML to the poly so that it can able to spell it out during the text to speech. And translate is something you obviously use the Google translator. So this is Amazon translate, and it has the support up to 75 languages as well. So Amazon Lex is a place, it's a kind of service where you can able to create some conversational chatbots. For example, if you aware about Alexa, right? Alexa, the voice assistant, right? The Alex was same. So it supports the text based and it also supports the voice based. So we have some more key services, but these are something you're going to see in your real day-to-day life or day-to-day work. So for example, you want to do some image detection for some customers, so you might use the recognition, and you can detect something and you're going to use some LLM in the backend to get some results. No, you want to do a sentiment analysis, you want to create some documentation. First you're going to understand what the document was, and then you're going to summarize it. So this is where comprehend will be useful. You have some audio and you wanted to generate some transcripts out of it, and you wanted to create some PDF out of it. So this is where transcript useful. So this is how we're going to embed each of services one to one in order to get a sophisticated view. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So you can see we have some multiple services available, and this is simple architecture, so which will be a universal. Like if you are building some RAG agent on AWS, so this is where same, but you can see some service changes will be there. So I want to explain this flow in a little bit. Please bear with me. So here we start with our PDF files. So I am going to upload my PDF files, and those PDF files will go to this embeddings, which we talked earlier, right? PDF has some text, and text will be converted into the vectors. So where will be the vectors getting to the stored? And it will be stored in the document DB. So you might wonder what is document DB. Document DB is nothing but a compatible version of MongoDB which is provided by AWS. So this is where we're going to store our vectors. So we have our embedding. So every time I send some new files, it's going to convert into embeddings and it's going to store it in my vector database. Nothing but my document DB. This is the backend setup. Come to the front end setup. So I am the user, I want to ask some information. So what is when will be the next India match will be there? So I have some information regarding it, and I want to ask when will be the India's next match will be there, and who will be the IPL winner of this year as well. So I'm going to fed up some data on that. So here it going to get into the vector search first of all. Okay, it going to vector database and it going to search for the semantical searching, etc. Once it gets some relevant text, and then it goes back to the LLM. Okay, Bedrock. So here Vishnu asked this information. This is what I find in the vector database. And can you just provide the response to this? So see, this will be something more easy for us, or more easy for LLM to generate the response, because the LLM knows the starting point is of this. Like, so Vishnu mentioned about IPL. So it might have a lot of meanings to the IPL, but in my vector database, I explicitly mentioned it's a Indian Premier League. So I asked it who will be the winner of 2027. So that LLM might not have the history of it. I given, so these are the history of seasons happen, and here are the winners, here are the runners, and here are the top scorers and players, etc. So this LLM will be like, okay, Vishnu given some context, and I was able to find something in my in my external vector database as well. Now I going to generate. So it going to generate you the L generated response. So why we need this setup? Because this gives you the actual information. Like AI doesn't going to hallucinate it. So IPL might have some a lot of meanings, right? So that LLM might generate a new abbreviation for IPL as well. So here the hallucination will be reduced, and the whatever the output comes, it will be trustable, and it will be more efficient for us. Like you can trust that information. Okay, so this is what it given based upon the analysis. Okay, it was able to analyze the information. So this is something a simple RAG chatbot looks like. So here you can do multi-agent flow. Here you can use RDS. Here you can use OpenSearch. I just mentioned LLM for text generation. You can use anything like Claude, Sonnet, Opus, Haiku, Amazon Nova, Llama models, or anything. So this is how a simple AI application looks like. So next would be like you might feel, Vishnu, where is the better place to start? So you might ask, what is a better place to start for a certification? So what would be your better approach? So I believe the first approach would be start with the AWS Skill Builder. So you have a lot of free courses available there. You can see something related to this official AIF CO1 course where you can find some practice questions and as well as the structure. So what kind of things you need to focus on. And next thing would be community courses. Like obviously everyone knows the Stephen Marek, so you can utilize his course, and his course obviously covers most of the content, and he also gives some kind of nice hands-on as well, like where you can just go and create your AWS free tier account and you can just play around. So in the Bedrock there is something called a playground where you can use multiple models for text generation, image generation, even for the video generation as well. And second thing was party rock. So I believe if people know about party rock, it's fine. If people doesn't know about party rock, it's an open it's an open application where you can create apps or text generations or any gen AI app for you at the free, which is maintained by AWS, and you can span it across your like different models. So we'll be also seeing it. I will be also sharing the party rock, and I will also share one of the app I created, which helped for me in order to prepare for my certifications and different types of scenarios as well. So yeah, before I want to wrap it up, it was thanks for joining. And please join the Dispatch channel. This is where we're going to communicate more, and we're going to do start your AI practitioner journey, and do follow the AWS UG Punjab meetup group. So because I have been seeing there are a lot of meetup groups, but something like Punjab and other meetup groups for communicating daily, they having the meetly sync up with you guys in order to get the latest AI or AWS services to you in a very easy way. So over to Amandeep.
Thanks, Vishnu, for the session. We have a question in audience. So instead, I had that question as well. So the question is, please share some tips and tricks on clearing AWS certifications. So you have cleared 14 of them, which is awesome. So yeah, kindly share some tips and tricks.
Yeah, so clearing 14 certifications, like it's kind of surreal, but I just followed some kind of tricks for me. The first thing was whenever I learn about a service, I try to explore on the console. So people, we feel like most of the time when you try to access the AWS console, we might feel like we get some bill or etc. See, for the free tier account, we will get some 100 credits this time, and if you do something like EC2 or Lambda, you will get another 100 credits. So you can use those credits in order to do something, but there are for free few of things you can try to explore it. That is way how it started. If you ask me the poly, I really played around the poly service. Like I tried to give it some information. It was giving me some speech. I was able to download, etc. I used comprehend, and I used the Bedrock playground as well. I played around like different combinations, etc. And the second thing was mind maps. I created some mind maps where I interrelated the topics and one word answers for me. So that's how I prepared. And second thing, I used the Party Rock application to create my flashcards and the quiz. So I will be sharing, and this is how the whole preparation. But one thing for sure, we have a number of resources. The one thing you need to have was the consistency, and the second thing, even if you don't get it, it's fine. You might take some more time, but unevenly you will get to that. So yeah, those are some tips those are really helped me out. Like even last 2 weeks ago, I was took an exam, I followed the same, and yeah, hopefully it will helpful for you. The one thing I would matter was consistency. Be consistent. Do something every day. Take some time out of like 1 hour or half an hour. Start learning something. So that gives you in the longer run. You can see, right. Okay, I achieved a lot of things. A lot of small wins. It will be a huge win for you. So yeah,
Awesome. Thank you. So displayed on the screen are two QR codes. One is join in the Discord for AWS Developers India, wherein you would find a channel called Training and Certification. Um, that's the channel meant to encourage all the learners to ask questions, help fellow learners, collaborate, form learning groups, etc. So kindly do join that's the Discord channel. There are also other initiatives by AWS India team that keeps happening, keeps updating there. So you would benefit there as well. Recently, in November, since November last year, there was AI for Bharat program that happened there, and it was very well, participated across India. There was very good active participation in the group. You can learn from, you can ask questions, you can learn from fellow developers. If you are knowledgeable, you can answer doubts of others. That's how you learn answering questions. Um, we would come up with more sessions regarding certifications. And if you have any questions, please do reach out to us. If you have requests to conduct any specific sessions, please do reach out. Um, Thank you for today, Vishnu. Thank you for taking time out.
sure, sure. And last one message, join the communities, guys. So that is the place where you can get motivated and networking, and as well as you can get to meet some personas where you can also start building yourself. So community is something where you can start, and these are the better places, if you ask me. So I just want to share one thing. 2 years back, I joined few of the communities like AWS User Group India and the Discard channel, which I was earlier there for one of the hackathon. That's how it started. I kick-started my this community journey, and slowly I got to learn a lot of things in terms of networking, in terms of some like solutions, like how we're going to expertise how people are using the solutions. You just know the bedrock or something. So I saw people, they play around and they build some feasible solutions. So I just recommend, please do join the communities. That is the place, the first start, the first place where you can grow and start your journey in terms of anything, your career or the certifications as well. Yeah, that's it
Thank you.
from Amandeep. Yeah.
Thanks, Vishnu. Seems there is some technical glitch. Your camera was not visible,
Okay.
probably from somewhere in between the talk. But yeah, there is
Oh,
no event without a technical glitch. That's what
okay.
community is about. It's not about perfection, it's about networking. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll connect soon. We'll see you soon in the next meetup. Thank you all.
Thank you all.